Aloha kako, and welcome to the West Hawaii Association of Realtors 2020 County Council Candidate Interviews. My name is Kristen Moreland, and I'm the broker owner of Hikino Property Management. I chair the Government Affairs Committee for our association. Our committee extended the opportunity to participate in our interviews with each candidate who filed. While our association does not endorse candidates, we believe it is important to inform our membership and the community at large. This is an opportunity for the candidates to answer questions related to real estate and real property rights as they pertain to the candidate's platform and policies. The interview will consist of an introduction of the candidate, an opening statement of 1 minute from our candidate. Then there will be 6 questions. Each response will be timed to 2 minutes. We'll then have a summary statement from our candidate for 30 seconds, and then we'll conclude. This interview will be conducted by Marissa Ashley from Action Team Realty. Marissa is a member of our Government Affairs Committee. Now let's meet our candidate. Ikaika Rodenhurst is a candidate for County Council District Number 5. At this time, we welcome candidate Rodenhurst to give a 1-minute opening statement. Candidate?
Aloha and mahalo for having me. My name is Ikaika Rodenhurst and I'm running for County Council District 5. I love Puna and that's why I'm running. As a father, a coach, and an engineer, I think I have a unique perspective on some of the issues that we face as a community. And 3 of my priorities, if elected, would be addressing economic recovery after facing the COVID-19 pandemic, transportation improvements, and public safety. A lot of us realize that we have a lot of things to do in the recovery, especially in the economic recovery and the safety of our people following COVID-19. I'd really like to take the opportunity to help us move forward from in the effects that we felt through this impact. And part of that's going to involve jobs, part of that's going to involve diversifying our economy, and it's also going to involve improvements to transportation in our infrastructure and our roads, our connectivity. And then finally, as always, public safety is key, and we need to make sure that we support our communities and keep them safe. I feel that my experience as a father, coach, and engineer gives me unique leadership qualities in compassion, integrity, and commitment. And I hope to be your elected county council member come this election season. And just vote for me. I appreciate this.
Well, hello, candidate Rodenhurst. And now let's get on to our questions. Marissa?
Thank you for joining us, Ikaika. And this question is about IECC, the International Energy Conservation Code. And it was instituted with amendments last year by the County Council. An unintended consequence for residents of Hawaii is that the IECC and the Hawaii County Code combined impose unreasonable expense to homeowners for minor modifications to their home. If elected, how would you go about modifying the code to correct the burden it places on Big Island property owners?
Yeah, so the international, the IECC code combined with the other codes that they're currently reviewing right now with County Council, it's really causing a lot of issues, especially in Puna, where we have one of the fastest growing populations in the state. And that requires a lot of affordable housing, a lot of housing. So it really puts an additional burden on those that are providing households, as well as those that are trying to improve their houses for their ever-growing families in our community. And I think we need to make sure that we make the right decisions and see what's actually practical in those codes that we can adopt here, and not just do a blanket adoption of the code that's going to give us restrictive requirements that really hinder our ability to provide affordable housing, instead of what it should be is provide us with safety and safe housing for our residents.
Thank you, and for your ideas on that. And our next question is about workforce housing. Everyone agrees that there's a need for more affordable housing on the Big Island. And workforce housing brings families closer to their jobs, alleviates traffic congestion, and promotes healthier families and communities. How will you develop and support workforce housing?
Workforce housing is going to require collaboration from county level and working with our communities. it does provide those things. It alleviates traffic congestion, which in Puna we know is a very, very big issue. You would think on the outer islands, not so much, but for those of us who live in Puna, we realize that coming into Puna and coming out of Puna sometimes can be a task. And one of the things we can do to combat traffic is to have workforce housing, and it helps us be closer to home for our families and really take pride in the place that we live in. We can live, work, and play in our community. So I think that we need to do whatever we can to collaborate and support workforce housing at a county level.
Okay, thank you for that. And on the next question is about the reopening. Hawaii Island has been very successful in avoiding the COVID-19 virus. What do you identify as the 3 most important actions the council can take to support the safe reopening of the island's economy?
Yeah, we've been blessed for Big Island as far as dealing with COVID-19 and the little amount of cases we've had to deal with, fortunately. Safety should be our number 1 priority. We need to be safe in going back to work and going back into to school and really engaging in the community. So safety and how we go about our business and how we go about play and how we go about our education is really the number 1 priority from my perspective, and making sure that we can reopen safely and take the health factors into mind and use those funds available to help offset those costs, because it's not cheap for businesses and for our services in our community to do those. On top of that, we need to bolster our connectivity. It's shown us through COVID-19 how important internet is, how important telehealth and distance learning and telecommuting is, and we need to make sure that our internet service is reached to the people that need it. In Puna, we have a very rural community, and in fact, a lot of the kids doing long distance learning this past year have either didn't chime in because they didn't have the technology, or they didn't have a service where they live. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed. It's becoming the internet connectivity is becoming a vital part of our community and how we engage in business and education and communication. So we need to provide that to our people. And then, finally, diversifying our island's economy is going to be really a big factor. We cannot rely on tourism right now, so we need to make sure we support local businesses, agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and alternative energies to kind of wean us off support of outside oil and outside products coming in here. We need to do what we can within our county to support ourselves and really embolden and kind of empower our people in our community.
Thank you, Ikaika, for sharing your ideas on that. And then the next question is about short-term vacation rentals, STVRs. And it's a 2-part question. And the first part of the question is, what's your position on enforcement of the STVR ordinance? And the second part of the question is, do you think that the state of Hawaii should interfere with Hawaii counties' home rule and pass legislation to dictate STVR regulations?
Yeah, STVR is kind of a hot topic. It's kind of combined in with affordable housing. Oftentimes, it's a good alternative source of income for some of our struggling families, especially with such a high cost of living. At the same time, it also is perceived as a threat to our available housing for long term. So as far as the enforcement of STVR ordinances, I think we need to be keep them accountable. I think our current enforcement is doing a good job, and I want to make sure that we're not overzealous, but at the same time that we keep these STVRs accountable. And as far as the state intervening with the county's rules and legislations, I think each county has its own take on STVR and how it interacts with the communities. And I think that it should be specific to the county. So I think that Hawaii County's rules should be in place, and the state rules shouldn't impede on those currently in place. If any changes should be made, it should be made at the county level, not necessarily at the state level. but it's one of those things we definitely gotta monitor and keep accountable and keep an eye on, because like I said, it's not all one-sided. There's many sides to it. We need to keep accountable, and we need to make sure that that we do what's right for the people, what's right for our communities.
Thank you for your ideas on that. And the next question is about taxation. Increasing taxes or creating new taxes are a short-term fix and may continue to drive people out of the state. What are some of your long-term plans to help generate new sources of revenue for the county that don't include taxes?
Yeah, every time you bring up taxes, everyone wants to talk about how they want to lower taxes. And it's really difficult at this time. As we've seen from COVID-19, it's really done an impact that across the board, actually. So one of the things we want to look at is we want to make sure that we're not overburdening, one group of people too much and making it one person's problem more than the others. We're all in this together. We all need to find a way out of this, and it's going to require some creative thinking. Some of the ideas, that's kind of going through my head is, can we take advantage of federal funds, federal grants, and other revenues to kind of help us with some of these projects that help stimulate our economy. The CARES Act that's currently been out, we need to be able to spend that this year, but we need to make sure we can do what we can within our county without overburdening them, as well as looking outside our county and how we can get additional funds that'll really help us as we recover through this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you. And we have a question about infrastructure improvement. And there was a spill in the Kailua Bay recently that closed the bay. And we need infrastructure improvements for wastewater systems, both in the residential and the commercial sector of real estate. Assessing the individual homeowner for the cost is one option. What would you do in the next 2 years to move the county forward in upgrading the county wastewater systems?
Yeah, when we make improvements to our community, we should always consider the safety of our families, our communities, and the safety of the environment when we make these improvements. That was unfortunate to have that spill, and it's going to have some impacts to our community and to our environment. And we need to make sure that we get ahead of that. We take a proactive approach and make sure our current wastewater system is up to code, up to standard. So I would definitely take a look at making sure that our wastewater systems are up to code, up to the current standards. Focus on improvement, because that's part of my platform is infrastructure. And primarily for me is transportation, but with that comes utilities, connectivity, things like wastewater. So we need to make sure that we treat our wastewater and we make sure that we're not polluting the environment we live in. So it would be on my list of things to do is look forward at what we can do to upgrade our current system to make sure that we can handle not just our current level of wastewater, but what do we have projected as far as our population. Like I said, Puna is ever growing. It's a little bit, we have some differences depending on what district you're in. I know we have a lot of outdated technologies as far as wastewater management. So we definitely need to improve that and work with our communities and work with, collaborate with our different districts and our government agencies to make sure we are handling this appropriately and we're taking care of the people and making sure that they're not going to be harmed by this. So I look forward to working with this. I look forward to addressing this in infrastructure if elected.
Okay, thank you for that. And the final few minutes that we have, we'd love to have you make a summary statement.
All right, well, just mahalo to the West Hawaii Association of Realtors for this opportunity. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate being able to speak to the community. It is the West Hawaii Association of Realtors, and I am running for Puna District 5. But in the end, all county council members represent their district in changing things that are improvements to the whole county, not just the district. And I look forward to working with anyone and everyone necessary to get that job done, because I want to make sure that there's rational thinking at the county council level, and that we are working collaboratively with not just our other district representatives, but our community leaders in business and in our unions and in the people that are the voices of our population. I want to work with the people, not just for the people. So I look forward to this, and I hope that I have earned your trust, and I hope that I've earned your vote as County Council member for District 5, Puna. Mahalo.
Mahalo, candidate Rodenhurst and interviewer Marissa Ashley, for your willingness to participate in our program. We wish you the best on Election Day. To our audience, mahalo for tuning in. Don't forget that the primary election ballots will be delivered by July 21st for the August 8th primary. The general election is November 3rd. Mahalo for watching, and please vote. Aloha.